and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about one of the most serious parts of autism that affect me. I don't know if that sentence made sense. The part of autism that most severely affects me. Because when people talk about autism, they often talk about the social side. Obviously the social. Sorry, it's early morning. I'm struggling to get. Bear with me. What I want to this video is basically going to be about sensory issues and autism. It's quite apt I'm doing this video today because there is this horrid noise going on outside at the moment. It's like because they're drilling up the road near where I live, and there's this horrible kind of drilling noise, and it is horrible. But there's nothing I can really do about it. I'm due to meet someone at 10 o'clock. My support worker's coming along at 10 o'clock, so I will get some reprieve from it and I'll go out. But yeah, I hate noise. It's just really stressful, and it kind of almost, it feels like, it's really hard to describe how it feels, but it feels really uncomfortable and tingly and horrid. So I'm going to talk a little bit about sensory issues in this video. I have done a blog on this as well, so if you want to read about it in a bit more depth, do go and check out my blog, and I'll post a link on this video as well. Because when people talk about autism, what I was trying to say at the beginning of this video, not in a very clear way, because I am rather distracted because of that noise outside, is that when people talk about autism, okay, put it like this: the defining feature of autism is the social side, and I do struggle socially, and I always have done, with making friends and everything, as I've talked about in the other videos. And when I was younger, that was, certainly the most pressing issue when I was a teenager was my social inadequacy, problems making friends, this lifelong feeling of difference to other people and just not fitting in and not understanding other people, not being able to read other people, not being able to connect with other people. That is like the core of autism, the sort of defining thing. But autism isn't just about social issues. Autism also affects many, many other areas, not least the sensory side. And if anything, the sensory side in autism, I would say, for me, is actually, in terms of its impact on my day-to-day life, is actually more profound than the social side. Because, okay, socialising is difficult, and it's annoying that I don't easily connect with other people, and it's annoying that it's really hard for me to make friends. So when I was at school, I felt really alone, and certainly when I was at school, as I said, that was the most pressing issue, because, like, when you're surrounded by other people and you can't make friends, and that's really, really, really isolating. But the sensory side is the most painful part of autism in terms of I just can't escape from it. Because, like, okay, so like when you're at school or say at work, I mean, I can't work, but say in those sort of like, but if you know what I mean, in those sort of like environments, it's going to be really hard if you can't relate to people and everything. But then it's not just that, because when you get home, like after that, okay, you might be on your own, so you might not have the social demands. That part of the autism might have been removed, and you might think, okay, then, well, surely you should now just be able to relax because your disability should surely go away because we don't have any socialising going on. But if only it was that straightforward, because because the sensory side is there all the time. It never goes. It's this constant layer of stress. And it's really about, it's sort of like too much information, really. I know the National Autistic Society did a campaign in the UK, the National Autistic Society, which is the main autism charity in the UK, did a campaign to actually highlight the sensory side of autism, and they called it, the title of the campaign I think was called Too Much Information, and that's a really good way of putting it, because it is literally about too much information. You get too much information, you get overloaded, because it's like my brain kind of really struggles to process all this different information coming at me all the time. It can't filter it, it can't sift it, so it's just this constant bombardment of excess noise and information. It's like, what do I do with this stuff? It's really overwhelming. Now, as I mentioned, my main issue, each autistic person is different in terms of like what sense might affect them for most, because no two autistic people are the same. It's common in autism to have at least one sense, in many cases it's more than one sense, that is like oversensitive. In some cases, a sense can be undersensitive. So, like, and that would mean you're not getting enough information from that sense. I can be quite undersensitive. So, like, I can't always make sense of my environment visually, and that was difficult when I was at voluntary work because at AGK where I used to volunteer because I couldn't always see where objects were, and I've been in that place for like a long, long time, but I still couldn't like automatically know or register where objects were, and they were like, "It's staring you right in the face," but no, I can't see it, and that. Oh god, sorry, the phone's just gone. Sorry, just bear with me. Hello? No, I'm sorry, I can't speak right now. Why does my dad always have to phone when I'm doing videos? Sorry about this interruption. Hate them. Yeah, so what was I saying? Bloody hell, sorry. I hate being interrupted. Yeah, it's gone from my head. What was I saying? Yeah, no, I was talking about AGK. I couldn't always see objects that were like placed in front of me, so my visual sense isn't like the most developed. And when I was at school, in my educational psychology report, it mentioned like I had really severe visual processing problems, like with spatial awareness and stuff like that as well. But noise, the auditory sense is overdeveloped. It's really funny. It's intense. I pick up sounds, This makes my life really, really stressful, and it's part of the reason why when I was younger, I think I struggled to learn in the classroom, and often I was like daydreaming and switching off and just not paying attention in class, and the teachers would say I had my head in the clouds because my attention was just not focused all the time on what I was supposed to be doing, unless I was like really, really interested in it, of course. And in busy group situations, I'd often shut down. I just thought it was a sign of I didn't know I had autism at the time, so I just put it down to like introversion, shyness, I didn't really question it. I just thought, I just find this rather overwhelming. All these kids are talking, they're giggling, they're laughing, I can't make sense of it. It's just this sea of like noise. It's like, what do you do with this? How do you even begin to make friends when it's so noisy? It's like, what do you do? Just like, no idea. So I just kind of like shut down, and I think people often thought of me as like a little bit shy and like, lacking in confidence because of that. But actually that's because of the autism sensory side. It's just I didn't know about it at the time, because I didn't know this had a name. When you grow up with these issues, and they're just so much part of your life, you don't really think about them. But it all makes sense, now obviously I know, and I know, now I've been diagnosed, and obviously I know myself a little bit better, and I'm a bit more aware of these things. It all makes sense. I've always found noise incredibly distracting. It is part of the reason, as I said, when I was a kid, I couldn't really study very well on my work, and because I think in a way, I think that's a coping strategy. Just don't bother doing the work, because you get distracted. There's no point. Just don't bother. So I was just quite a hyperactive child, just kind of running around doing things that didn't involve much concentration, because I found concentrating quite hard when there was noise. Obviously, as I got older, I've become a bit more disciplined, and I do apply myself more to work. But now the problem is that when I'm trying to read, although I push through and try and plough on because I'm really motivated and I want to read and I want to learn, it is really, really distracting and overloading because I still have to deal with the noise. So it does vary, however. It's not the case, like when we're talking about sensitivities in autism, it's not like a black and white kind of every single noise. It's not the case that you're going to react to every single noise or sensory stimuli in the same way. It very much depends on context, anxieties, and other issues. So in some contexts, so for the sake of argument, I might be able, my own noise, because I'm in control of it, that's completely different. So I can have my vacuum cleaner on, I can have my washing machine on, and because it's my noise, it doesn't bother me, or at least not so much. It doesn't, because I'm in control of it. I know when it's going to end. It's a controlled noise. So a lot of this is all about noise and a lot of it is about predictability and control. If I know how long the noise is going to last for, the duration of the noise, where it's coming from, why it's happening, the reasons for it, it doesn't take away the discomfort necessarily, but it does massively reduce the anxiety because I know when it's going to end. I have a sense of control. It's the random noises that I don't know when they're going to happen. They could happen any moment. I can't predict when they're going to happen. A random bang, a random tap, it could be anything. It doesn't even have to be a loud noise. If I can hear the noise and it's unpredictable and random, that to me is really stressful. It's part of the reason why I respond quite well to white noise. So if I'm struggling to concentrate, say with my reading, I will put and I do this all the time actually when I'm reading now, I put my headphones on and I play white noise, or I have the fan on, and that's like this constant predictable noise, and it kind of blocks out competing, unpredictable, random noises that I can't block out. And every time I hear that noise, it forces me to I lose attention on what I'm reading, because all I can respond to is that noise at that particular time. It's like, what's that? And then it's like, I lose concentration, and then I have to go back to the beginning of a sentence and read it all over again, because I can't because it messes up with my thought processes, because my thinking is all taken up with this noise I've just heard and I can't concentrate anymore on what I'm reading. So that is really, really hard, and it's something I have to deal with every day. And obviously, because reading's so important to me and it's part of my routine, because it's like a special interest, reading, you've got that obsessive need to follow a routine, combined with the noise that might stop me or make it harder for me to complete my routine. You can see that I'm facing a hell of a lot of anxiety every single day, and this is really stressful. But other people don't see it, necessarily, because I'm not melting down all the time. Sometimes I do melt down, and I have been known to have, like, real outbursts sometimes, particularly when I'm really, really stressed. Less so these days. A lot of it now. I did that more when I was younger. When I was younger, I often had regular what I used to think of as tantrums at the time, or we call them meltdowns in autism speak. When I was younger, I just called them tantrums. But less so now. Now it's more internalised, so people don't always see it, and therefore I think people sometimes think I'm coping better than I actually am, because it's constant tension. So yeah, as I say, noise is the main issue, but it's unpredictable noise. So if I know so for example, it's easier for me, say if I'm going into a shop, I don't like busy shops. I can only stay in a busy shop for so long. I don't like the noise. But actually, paradoxically, that's actually easier for me to deal with, funny enough, than, say, random noise, say when I'm at home, for example, or when I'm in an environment where I feel a greater need for control, because the noise coming at me is more unpredictable. Whereas if you go into, say, a shop or somewhere like that, you do know it's going to be quite busy, okay? If I'm about to go into a shop, I can prep myself, say, look, I'm going into a busy environment, I'm going to find this stressful, but I can stay as long as I want, and I can leave. And it's not my environment, so I don't have that kind of element of control there, because this is an environment that is essentially not in my remit, it's not my territory. And I think because of that, I'm not quite so controlling over that environment and what sort of noises go on there, and I have that sense I can just leave if I want to. But if it's in my own home, then that's a lot harder, because it's like my environment, and it's like I need to kind of seal this environment in. This is my safety, this is my like hole, this is my, this is my den. It needs to be 100% controlled, so it's actually a lot harder. So yeah, so it is quite context specific, but sometimes it has to be said, I put myself in a stressful environment thinking I can deal with it, and I can't necessarily. And sometimes I have been known to get really stressed and swear and barge past people in shops, because I think I kind of put a lot of pressure on myself to conform, because I wasn't diagnosed so late. I kind of put a lot of pressure on myself to conform and do what everyone else does. I think, come on, you can do this. Look, other people are doing it, so why can't you? Look, everyone else is doing it, so you should be able to do it. And I don't always, and I think because I do that, I sometimes, the stress does build up, and I just plough on anyway, because I think I should be able to deal with it, but I can't always deal with it. And then occasionally I sometimes do melt down in shops, like a time when I went into a toy shop, and it was really, really busy, and I shouldn't really have gone in there, but I thought I could cope with it, and I picked up all these stickers I wanted to look through, because it's really busy. And then I got to go till, and there's this really long queue, and I suddenly felt really triggered and like sensitive, and I literally just dropped all. I felt really weak, and I just dropped all those stickers on the floor and just had to march out and bang the door, slam the door behind me, because I was like in a bit of a huff, and the stress had just got caught up with me, and I didn't realise it, and it just came like. So yeah, so sometimes I think I sometimes put too much pressure on myself. Right, I'm going to carry on in the second video, because I think this is going to cut out on me, because I've got a few other things I want to say about sensitive issues. This is part 1. Moving on to part 2 now. Thank you.